Всем доброго утра, дорогие друзья! Мы продолжаем следить за БТС онлайн в Юго-Восточной Азии, как обычно, с самого утра. Студия Рухаб для вас на втором канале. И сегодня, так же как обычно, посмотрим 4 серии, 4 Best of 2 серии. Я напомню, что именно в таком формате проходит весь групповой этап. Ну и первым матчем станет противостояние Geekfam и Esport. Я напомню, что команда LGD не участвуют дальше, и их заменили Неон. Именно они будут проводить всю групповую стадию. Именно поэтому у них сыграно так мало встреч пока что. Они
Jacob!
We'll see one more ban coming up from Neon Esports before the draft continues. The Timbersaw, of course, somehow made it to the 5th ban for Geekfam. That's been a first ban every single game we've seen. But now it is removed, so we won't see it this game either. Actually, it would have been quite nice up against the DK if Neon Esports did want to pick it up, but they opted for that Void Spirit Grim instead. Ban out right now. I doubt go route though, because you DK now, so you probably won't have space for it. And I don't really think they need it per se, but you may want to get rid of the Lycan if you're Neon Esports. We saw that yesterday from Raven. I mean, they just...
Oh yeah.
It wasn't even close if Raven gets that Lycan.
Yeah, it's really tricky because Geekfam plays around it perfectly, and again, it was in their last game against Execration where Geekfam went a bit wild with that draft. Just Raven finding, what, 25-minute AC, Necronomicon, Tree, and Radiance on the Lycan, so probably not the best hero to give him, and they do ban it out as respect. They pick up the Pangolier for themselves, which is, I guess, really nice in this scenario because you've got the Grimstroke on your side. You don't have to worry about the Rolling Thunder being held down. You could go for a Bane. Yeah, Geekfam just take that Bane in response just to keep the Pangolier in place. So they get that solid 5, and that Bane has been popping back in, Mike.
It's been very popular, John. I think it's probably the best pos 5 in the game right now. Arguably, I mean, maybe not the best, but it's pretty darn good. Like, I'd say it's at least considered an A tier if you're gonna put it in the tier list. It's really, really good right now. Very potent. It did receive nerfs in the previous patch. Mostly, they switched up the level 10 and 15 talents, so your cast range talent went from level 10 to level 15, which did hurt. But overall, the hero is still just amazing overall. And of course, up against the Pangolier. You can Fiend's Grip him during the Rolling Thunder, and that way he just can't do anything with that ulti. Same goes for the Void Spirit, of course. You have that great catch for the Void Spirit, and now the Puck even. Just even more value coming out for this Bane. Although now there's 3 targets he has to try and go for, in all fairness. But there is a lot of value.
Definitely is. I do still like the Puck here for Neon. I think that gives him a very strong way of keeping that Queen of Pain down with the Dream Coil. So you've got really good control here from Neon. You've got great team fight coming out. You have some flexibility with the Puck as well. It's still whether or not you want to Puck mid or to Puck off or to their draft and getting the lanes out. Of course, you have some the angle, but otherwise it is fairly open. Is flexibility to consider. Geekfam's response though, the Ricky coming out. Yeah. Working out for them though. It kind of to Raven's place to play semi-aggressively sometimes, although if you go the slower route for the Battle Fury, the Ricky can
though with that smoke screen on the Puck and Void Spirit though. It's easy pickings for that Ricky this game around. Of course, Neon Esports, their final ban, they get rid of the clockwork, which is quite intriguing. I guess we could have seen a Zephyr pos 4 clock. I wouldn't have expected it though, in all fairness. We haven't really seen that come out of him yet. Geekfam, they ban out the PL. They don't really have an answer to that PL this game, so it's a nice ban to make here for Geekfam. And, well, their final pickup now, they are still lacking that pos 4, or alternatively a mid, if they are going to run maybe the pos 4 quap, which we did see from Zephyr yesterday. He did do quite well in that pos 4 quap as well, so I wouldn't be quite surprised.
Yeah, I think the only issue for Geekfam in this game with a pause for Quap would be control might be a bit lacking. You're really relying on the Bane in the early game. Maybe the DK steps in once you have a blink, but that sometimes takes a bit of time. So you might be having some issues in that sense. But again, we've seen Zephyr do it quite well. And the closer for Geekfam is something I actually really enjoy. The Pugna makes an appearance. So you've got very fast pace from Geekfam, right? It's just really fast tower pushes with the Pugna, with the DK here. You've got a way to punish the puck every single time the puck casts a spell. It's going to be harder to chain the blink escapes because you're constantly taking damage from the Nether Ward. So there's a refresh time. You can break the puck's combination there, and you can really start to melt through the map. Although, Neon's response, the Bloodseeker, that is one way to keep that Ricky in check and really tear through these heroes. Like Geekfam, it's going to be hard to run away from that Seeker. Of course, the Pugna can play around with the Decrep in that case, but I think there's some early game potential now from Neon as well.
Oh, there certainly is. Very intriguing kind of pick with that Bloodseeker. It's the first time we've seen it in the BTS Pro Series for Season 2. I look forward to see what it can do. I don't really have the highest hopes in all fairness of the Bloodseeker, but we'll see how it goes. Like, you are playing into a Pugna in all fairness. That is going to be a pos 4 Pugna, but my problem with the Bloodseeker is, John, you just decrepify and he can't do anything. It's, and even then, right, like if you've got someone that's down, if you decrep the Bloodseeker, just life drain your... Well, it kind of just makes Seeker, you know, you get my point. That's assuming that goes, you know, it's not as easy said than done.
Hingi kasi nila.
It definitely isn't.
May mga
But
pagano.
I think there is potential from both sides there. Like with the
Wow,
Bloodseeker in
mainit.
this case, right? You've got the nice AoE silence to maybe break off that Fiend's Grip from Whitemon. So you have a safer way to cancel that off without expending a big spell. Of note as well for Neon, they are running the pause for Void Spirit and the offlane Pango. So looks like we will be seeing play hard in Void Spirit this time. We'll see how much he can pull out from Void Spirit. It's not something we see in Southeast Asia too often, that 4 Void, but we have seen it in some other regions, and it can get the work done, depending on how aggressive you play early. You just need to hit level 6 to really start applying even more pressure.
Sure. Can be quite devastating. No actions. Oh, there we go. They're finally dying. I was going to say they're just not doing anything with these actions yet, but we have it. And of course, it wouldn't be a new day of SCA Dota without a great old pause.
Oh yeah. First, minute 0 pause is how we like it.
Yeah.
Just the way everyone likes it.
So it's going to be that safe lane, Ricky. They're not going to play any kind of funny lanes here with Raven.
Oh no.
He should basically have a free lane though on that top lane in all fairness. Like, the Pangoli can be annoying, but you've got this super high space regen on the Ricky. Well, what's going on? What are they saying now?
No, he was just saying. Carl was just saying that Play Hards is pretty big, pretty long. No?
Oh.
Play Hard Seb is pretty long.
Oh, it's he does have a huge Seb, yeah.
Barry, thanks. Play Hard's throwing some shade into Carl, saying that Carl's is just loose change in comparison. And they're somehow making fun of Zephyr for alt tabbing. Like, he's not paying attention apparently.
I don't blame him. Zephyr's a man of business. He doesn't waste his time with these jokes and stuff, right? He'll be back once the game starts.
I don't know what underwear has to do with it. Apparently, Cuckoo says it's just like purchasing underwear. Okay, Cuckoo.
What's like purchasing underwear, John?
I guess it's. I'm trying to check the context. I can't scroll up enough. See, this is an issue. Pabago PH. What? Nah, this is probably inside stuff. I'm not sure what they're referencing. But, it's nice to see teams be.
See you later, nerds.
On that note, by the way, we are trying to hire a Filipino that can translate for us, because John can't apparently. So if there's any Filipinos out there, just send your resumes through.
I don't know how Carl throws out the casual yawa, but that's something good for us Bisaya folk. Just tossing our own curses out. That's always nice to see, Mike.
It is, he's a cultured man, John.
Yeah, just cursing in two different dialects is always good.
That's very cultured. Bot lane, Skem's gonna be there, but he's not gonna go after that bot bounty rune. He's by himself at the moment. So Geekfam will secure both bottom bounty runes, and the top runes, of course, will go to the way of Neon Esports. I was talking before that this Ricky by Raven really shouldn't suffer too much in this lane. The Pango can be annoying, but that's really all I think he can be. Like, the base region of Ricky is just so high in the laning stage that you can't really get through all his HP quite quickly. And
yeah,
is that a pos for Void Spirit?
Yep, it is play hard on it. So they are going with the core Pango, the pause for Void Spirit, which again isn't too common in Southeast Asia, but we have seen from time to time elsewhere, and it does kind of make sense, right? The Void Spirit doesn't take too much farm. You really need to just hit level 6, and at that point, Play Hard can start applying that pressure. Of course, at some point, you would want some way of farming up to the Ags. There's just way too much value in that item pickup, but with the Void on the pause 4, that timing's probably going to be delayed.
We are going to have a couple disconnections here from Neon Esports. So,
And
Straw from Geekfam, I think it's such a fast-paced lineup, right? Like, once you've got the DK at 6, you've got the Quap, maybe at that point she'll be level 8, and the Ricky as well. Like, Raven, he can join these team fights so fast if his team needs him. Like, they may opt to just farm a little bit. They may not choose to start rushing down lanes. But once you get around that 10-minute mark, I think Raven may just join up with his team and start just joining the fights. I don't really see any reason for him to just keep farming here. Like, once you've got a couple Wraith Bands and Treads up on that Ricky with a lineup like this, they do tend to melt quite fast on Neon Esports.
yeah, they're not the tankiest targets, and this does open up that early aggression for Geekfam as well. I think one other really strong aspect from Geekfam's draft is just their laning. Like, you look down bot, you see Scam on the Bloodseeker, you've got Whitemon and Zephyr around already to make that hellish. So if they want to just delay the progression of this Bloodseeker, hanging around for a level or 2 down here should really make it hard for Scam to find some early last hits.
You should be able to just decrepify scam on that Bloodseeker every time he goes for that last hit. Force him to use the Bloodrite to try and get those CS, but even then it can be quite challenging because it's just so projected. You know, it's quite easy to just try and go in for the deny while you have a chance, while that Bloodrite is still charging up. There's gonna be a lot of pressure here on Yopaj as well. I think he's gonna have to be rotating quite early on the puck. So things can escalate quite fast here with this draft from Geekfam if you're not too careful. We still have disconnections coming out.
Yeah, it's just just a bad day for internet again. You know how it is. It's staple. Southeast Asian staple. Just like rice. You have it everywhere, it disconnects.
Oh, goodness me.
I mean, you know, it's like I'm on mobile hotspot. I've got my dad's phone on top of my PC right now, hooked into a charger as well, just to make sure. Somehow it's holding up, at least for the voice, I hope.
Oh, it is.
You know, there's some issues. Yeah, it's something. I'm pretty sure this is not playable though, so I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. So I can get why these boys are trying to get as best of connection as possible.
Speaking of, did you try reconnecting to the camera thing again?
Oh yeah, it's calling in, and if it okay, I got it muted. I instantly have to mute it because it might just go off. It's not cooperating too well, but
No,
I'll try
it's
to
not.
get that fixed.
It's another day with the internet.
Yeah, Zephyr is being nice though. Take your time, Zephyr. Facebook mode. Why are they making fun of Zephyr just alt tabbing? He's been pretty on point, but you know, maybe he's got that multitasking up to par. Just playing high-level Dota and surfing social media.
You've got to multitask these days, John. It's just not enough to have like one screen and, you know, can't be on one app at a time. That's not really.
No.
It's 2020, John. You got to get with the times.
Oh, absolutely. That's just the way it rolls now.
Yeah.
It's Zephyr though, telling Scam to focus up. Poor Puckboy Neon. That's a compliment from Carl. He's just saying that the Neon are full of cool folk. You know,
Cool folk?
yeah, that's a very roundabout way of saying it. I can't quite translate it, but I'm sure you can get the contents of Puckboy. It should be fairly obvious, I think. One would hope. Maybe my accent's not coming through enough, but it's an accented way of calling someone a cool fella.
Okay. Well, it looks like we are going to be going ahead now, so disconnects are over. 5 minutes of pause time left as well, apparently.
You know, this is the second time someone's asked Raven if he's in a rush. Every single time there's a pause and he's like, go. And everyone's like, are you in a rush, Raven?
I don't quite blame Raven. I mean, I don't know why players enjoy wasting time so much just sitting in a pause screen. It's, you know, you just want to play the game.
Yeah, but I guess Zephyr just enjoys that Facebook time, man.
Yeah, that's fair enough. This is work time, Zephyr. No more Facebook for you, sir. It's going to be up against Januel, who's going to be harassing Zephyr out quite a bit. That level 1 timing for the Pugner is quite slow. Plus, he went for the level 1 Nether Ward. So
Yeah, that's an interesting start. Not very common. I think this does make it harder for Scam to spam the Bloodrite. It's just that, well, level 1 ward is really easy to kill.
Are you bound to the
I'm kind of shocked he went for that. I appreciate the fact that you are going to remove a lot of mana there from Scam and just harass him out. But like you said, it's just so easy to kill off. And it's not like you're going to spam Bloodrite that often at level 1. If you Scam, he'll put another one down. In all fairness though, if you go to try and kill off that ward, you can take a lot of free harassment from Zephyr. That might be the game plan here, just trying to force them to deal with the ward and then him harassing them while they do it. But no, yeah, they get the deny off. Cuckoo got the deny that one. Scam going to chase Cuckoo down with the Ink Swirl. Do a bit of damage there on the DK. He'll be fine. We'll have a look at the other lanes. Of course, mid lane, Yopaj is going to be up against Carl. And Carl, we saw him yesterday having a great old time on the Ember Spirit. Time around on the Quap. Currently doing very well in this lane up against the Park. Yopaj is going to have to be a bit careful about how much harassment he takes from Carl. And will eventually just salve up.
Yeah, it's still a slightly better lane so far for Yopaj. Just managing to clear the creep waves a bit better, but it's not like Carl's too far behind. This is going to be the story of this lane until perhaps you see an early lane support rotate out, but with how the side lanes are going, probably not going to be happening anytime soon.
Uh-oh. We're only 2 minutes 40 seconds in. Now the Discord's having some issues.
Yeah, it's interesting to me though, because we tend to see a lot of teams call for, I believe it's TeamSpeak. This is the first time I've seen someone call out for a Discord issue, so that's new.
Is it? Do people still use TeamSpeak?
Yeah, a lot of teams actually still use it.
Why?
I don't know. I guess they bought a server, they bought some bandwidth, so they might as well. It is technically higher quality when you run your own server. You can control it a bit better. Maybe privacy or DDoS concerns.
I guess.
There was that period of time where teams were still using Skype, and Discord wasn't big. So I guess a lot of them did just transition to TeamSpeak in that period. Yeah, that was
man,
the
Skype.
Yeah, Skype.
Skype's just the worst. It's just unbelievable how bad that is.
Oh yeah, takes me back though. Like you and I think maintain our Skypes for just one person, and I miss that guy. He's a great fella in the CIS scene.
I don't maintain Skype at all, John. I don't have it installed right now. I only install it when it's necessary.
I see. Yeah, that's smart. I just keep it around just in case I get reminded to run ads.
Alright. For the top lane, of course, we do have Whiteman and Raven there. Currently, Raven's top of the last hits board. He's really being uncontested by Rappy on this Pango. Which again, was to be somewhat expected here. Like, it's very hard to win this lane as a Pangolier. Especially when Whiteman's there, and that's a missed swashbuckle as well. But Whiteman's just continuously harassing him out, and Rappy's really got no help around. Playhard has pulled the lane over. So he's trying to fix the lane up for Rappy, but this definitely isn't really helping out this Pangolier.
No. It's one of the things with a Void its laning presence is sometimes not the best. It takes some EXP to really build it up, and that's most certainly something Geekfam is exploiting. As you mentioned, Raven pretty much free farming, and we've seen what happens when you let Raven have a free lane. It gets out of control very fast.
And that it probably will if they don't try and contain Raven now. They do have a lot of creeps coming the way of Rappy though, so he'll get a bit of XP for himself and hopefully a bit of gold as well. Of course, Whiteman's just going to take care of just chasing down Playhard, making sure he doesn't have a good old time. Playhard still sitting at the level 2 mark, is going to have a struggle here in trying to get those levels up. He'll go after an Aether and onto Carl, but Carl will dodge it out quite easily. Well, Playhard right now is just soaking XP off Yopaj, but he can't go back to the top lane because Whiteman's just blocking the way. He's kind of stuck here. He scans out, he scans Whiteman, still going to be chased though. And Whiteman's hitting like a truck right now as well, which doesn't really help. He literally just can't get back to the lane. He's going to go the longest way possible.
Yeah, it's really hurting that top lane. Not the best results for Neon. They're just going to have to cop it. I mean, there's not much choice there. This is what they've drafted themselves into, after all.
That they have. That mid lane, though, Yopaj has started to overtake this Queen of Pain. They're trying to go for that Banneroon snipe there from Carl. Yopaj still going onto that Quap. He could actually take him out, but now Zephyr's coming in, and Carl is bottling up through all these auto attacks. Yopaj, though, Orb is going to be there. Does he want to jaunt in? He does! But he can't really kill Carl. And now he's in a very awkward position. He has to TP out of there. He'll be alright in the end. Straight back to that mid lane. Well, Yapaj, if he can keep this up, he should be able to really carry his team through the mid game on that puck. They are going to need him to set the tempo.
Yeah, it's really down to Yapaj just finding a stronger start. It is already a bit good. You know, he's about a wave ahead of Carl, which is a nice start. You rarely see Carl in this kind of situation. And the puck can start making those early rotations. You've got the level 6 up and running. There you go, the Dream Coil's out.
Does come out now. Scream. Sonic Wave, though, dodged out by Yapaj, and he gets the kill. First Blood is going to be there for the puck.
A fascinating substance.
Great dodge on that Sonic Wave, and it's going to really hurt for Carl, not only dying, but getting that Sonic Wave on cooldown for 2 minutes.
It's a nice big win for Neon down mid, and again, if Yapaj maintains that pace, he should be able to get a lot more. White Mondo being chased out.
He's in trouble. The Nightmare does finally get taken off of Rappy, but he doesn't really have the swashbuckle anyway. Couldn't go for the chase. I thought Wyman was just going to die there for sure, but the brain sap kept him alive. Rappy is still struggling quite a lot though. Like, he's got 23 last hits on this Pango. Now Raven, he comes in for one blink strike and you saw the damage. He just can't really sustain himself in this lane anymore. To make matters worse, we see Playhard, he does rotate. Like, they tried to make the chase onto Cuckoo, it seems, but Cuckoo TP'd out. And they didn't really have the ink swell off in time, so they couldn't really stop the TP. It's just going to hurt Neon now, because you've rotated Playhard. He's already suffering in terms of levels. He's going to run all the way up to the top lane again now. It's just not great news.
No, it definitely isn't. Neon's early game, sure they find first blood on Yapaj, but every other lane is still hurting. You're not finding the snowball you'd want from Scam, although he is finding last hits. Cuckoo, I'm sure, is pretty happy with finding his EXP on the DK. And this is, again, something Geekfam needed. They just needed to find their levels, hit a good stride on Raven, and even if you haven't slowed down that Bloodseeker, well, you do have solutions for that with your support Pugna anyway, so it's not going to be a point of concern. And you look at Zephyr, he actually did skip Decrep. He's really just maxing out the Nether Ward.
They're going to make the jump onto Zephyr now. Zephyr going to be in trouble with that silence. He's going to try and run, but will die. Now the jump in, Playhard, Sonic Wave going to be quite decent, but Yapaj does dodge it out again. They do get off Playhard though, and looks like that'll be it. Geekfam, they will back off. It is about that point though now where they'll probably start rotating this 4 or 5 and start just trying to find pickoffs across the map for Geekfam. But back to that Pugna build. Why no Decrep?
Yeah, that's an interesting way to go about it. I think they're just really trying to punish the puck and just make it hard for them to cast spells. So you're, again, limiting the spam from the Bloodseeker, although down bot.
Yeah, bot lane, Inkswell going to be there on Genuel. He is going to at least get the stun on the Ricky, but not going to really matter. Cuckoo does get the kill for himself, and now with that Dragon form, they are very easily going to push down that tier 1 tower. And this is really the problem with giving that DK over to Geekfam, is they do this every single time they hit that level 6 timing. There is going to be a Rolling Thunder, and now Yapaj does rotate. Cuckoo is going to be in pretty big trouble. He'll try and turn around, but there's nothing he can do. Skem is going to rotate in and just take the kill for himself. And so they do successfully stop the bot push from happening, but it is a substantial amount of damage.
Yeah, it really is, and I'd say at this point, finding that defense is already a win for Neon. Geekfam, gotta be a bit careful. Maybe try to give Zephyr some more EXP. Does have at least 1 point in Decrep, but you're gonna want a few more, although Raven is hunting Skem.
Skem is just way out of position right now. Setting up for the top tier 1 push by farming in that area, but there's nobody there. Genuel just made his way up. That's a big pick off there for Geekfam. That was the POS 1 of Neon Esports.
Yeah, it's a really good punishment from Geek. Skem, he needs to find safer farmer, hunt more successfully. They do find Zephyr at the least.
They do. But Cuckoo's just focused on trying to force in that mid tower now. He's just switching lanes, just going for the higher priority target. They may kill him off, Cuckoo. He's going to make a run for it, but he has been silenced up, stunned up as well. But Rappy kind of missed that swashbuckle, but it won't matter. They do get the kill on now. Carl going to be in trouble. A great Sonic Wave, though. They bring the Bane in as well. Rolling Thunder out. This Quap is in huge, huge trouble. The Nightmare out, and he does try to blink away, but the Rupture will kill him off. The problem maybe just didn't realize the Rupture was there. Fun little fact though with mechanics, John, you can actually blink and dodge the Rupture damage on the Queen of Pain. That is possible, but if you don't realize the Rupture's there, you won't be able to really commit to the trick.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky distance to have to estimate, and you know, it's something that I guess Carl wasn't quite ready for. So Neon is starting to kick up that early aggression, but you look at Raven. He's been left to farm up. He hasn't really been punished. He's going for the Diffusal build, so it is a more aggressive build for Raven this time, not opting for the Battle Fury, but he's been allowed to farm a 1k advantage over Scam. This is really not what you want to be seeing from Neon, as the few kills they've gotten are nice, but Geekfam are just advancing in these objectives at a faster pace.
Well, with this Bloodseeker, like, you need to be ahead. Like, you do not want to be behind at this stage of the game as a Bloodseeker. You should be the one being aggressive here. Raven gets Stream caught up, and now the rotations are coming in. Raven trying to get out. They are going to life drain him. He does blink away, but now Zephyr does take the Rupture. Now Rolling Boulder won't quite connect onto Raven. Soulbind going to be out with the double silence, but Fiend's Grip is out from Whiteman. He does catch the Pango. Still, they do end up killing off that Ricky. Now going after Whiteman on the Bane. And they will leave the Bane alone, maybe just deciding Cuckoo's a better target. Will they have the damage though? Nice ink swell there from Yopage, but now Cuckoo will turn around with the Dragon Tail. You just don't really have the damage output to deal with the DK unless you have everyone basically surrounding him. And this is with Cuckoo actually skipping out on the braces. He's just going straight for that blink.
Yeah, I don't blame Cuckoo for going this way. He needs to be up in front, setting the pace to counteract Neon's aggression. So the fast blink is necessary, but you're still seeing him quite tanky, and that is paying off great. I think you look at Zephyr now, does have the level 6, so you've got the sustain that can come out from Geekfam, and that makes it a lot more complicated in trying to actually pick them off as long as Zephyr's positioning is on point. So you do have certain tools coming out for Geek. Neon still gonna be happy with finally getting punishment on Raven, but they did give away that tier 1 anyway. So Geekfam's still finding the objectives in the end, and I'm sure they're gonna go for that mid tier 1 next. It's at 300 HP, not much left to it.
Looks like Rappy's trying to at least split push the top lane, but we are gonna have a DC now from Geekfam's end. Which means that my time is coming soon, sir, because it has switched teams now. Time is upon me, so I'll get ready for the disconnection. So we'll have the go-ahead from Geekfam. They reconnect quite fast.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
You know, this build from Zephyr is still intriguing me. Like, it does have some plays, I just don't know why you'd really value max death ward over even Nether Blast. Just a max ward over Nether. Like, this is slowing down their push a tad for Geekfam and minimizing their damage output, but it is kind of working as well, right? Like, it has kind of tempered that aggression, although
I mean, it makes sense in a way. Like, having that max Nether Ward is going to be so detrimental in these early team fights, right? Because you don't have the greatest mana pools, you don't have huge mana regen. Like, just the AoE degen aura of the mana will be quite detrimental in a team fight. But you pointed out earlier, like, the Puck has so many spammable spells that it is going to be quite effective up against a hero like that, to just put it down and just see all the damage start ticking out. Even the Void Spirit, like, just such low cooldowns.
Yeah. I don't think we've seen the full effect of it just yet. I think the positioning that Zephyr has been forced to drop it in has been less than ideal, but it is at max level now, so the damage kicks in, the mana loss kicks in as well. Should start to have a bigger factor in these fights.
Bot lane, they're going to go for a fight now, trying to steal those bounty runes, but Raven does kill off Playhard. Now they also find Januel.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Well, they're pushing in the mid lane there with Yopaj, but it's just a park. And Geekfam are rotating into that mid lane now, trying to secure that T1. Cuckoo will just go straight into the tower. He'll turn around onto Yopaj, try to force him back, but now the Blink Dragon Tail is there, and Carl will get in with the Sonic Wave. Yopaj in huge trouble, and there's that Nether Ward kicking in.
Yeah.
And now that he's got the Blink, right, like the Blink on the park, that's when the Nether Ward is really going to hurt, because you may not be able to blink out.
Oh yeah, it's really going to pay off now. Like, this was a very patient set of builds from Zephyr, but this is going to help them massively, although White Pawn cops the Rupture.
He does. Doesn't bother for the TP yet. Goes for the Brain Sap TP. Rolling Thunder is going to be forced down. They'll just commit it for the easy kill onto that Bane. So Neon sitting at an 8-8, but there's a 4k net worth lead here for Geekfam. And again, you look at Skem, he's just been struggling on this Bloodseeker.
It's been slow going, and he went for the drums build just to have more early presence for his team. What we tend to see from the core seekers have been a Blade Mail Radiance Rush or an SNY Radiance, but the timing doesn't feel great for Skem. They did smoke, but it's immediately popped by Zephyr.
Yeah, Zephyr does break it. Now looking to place that Nether Ward down, but he's being chased by Playhard. There is going to be a Dream Call out, but it's doing nothing. Raven is still perfectly fine. Playhard will jump back in, but Raven just juking and jiving. Now the Decrep lifesteal is going to be there on that Void Spirit. Playhard just ticking out. Januel, no, he will go down, but so will Playhard. And now the Bloodseeker, he's going to be able to run away, but I can't say the same for Yopaj, who does get stunned up and smokescreened. Well, you got the Bloodseeker out of there, but Carl just tips him. Just, I don't care, you did nothing in the team fight.
Yeah, that's going to be a consistent factor in these fights. Skem's presence is starting to be minimized. You know, as you build in, I mean, you've got Zephyr at 9 now. All of a sudden he has level 3 Decrep. So it becomes a lot harder for anyone to really just focus down and right-click, especially for that Bloodseeker. This mitigates his speed and gives a lot of downtime for Skem, even if he does show up. So Geekfam are starting to build up here in Neon. Their draft is supposed to be just as aggressive. It's just not quite kicking into gear. They need to find a way to make it work. They need to keep hunting Raven, because despite Raven joining these fights, he's still top of network.
Zephyr, you got Rupture, Dream Coil there, but Cuckoo is around the area. Now Carl going straight after Yopaj, who's just trying to run away, but they couldn't even kill Zephyr off. He is going to survive, and now Skem's just forced to run. They're going to turn it around onto Cuckoo. Cuckoo will also survive. Meanwhile, Carl was still trying to kill off Yopaj, but doesn't quite get that kill in the park. But it does get really concerning when you can't deal with the pos for Zephyr Pugner. And now Geekfam, they're going to run down to the bot lane. They don't have Dragon Form, but they don't really need it. They can slowly just siege away and wait for the next creep wave. I mean, the best that Neon can do is just try to push in the top tower.
It's not going to be a favorable trade for Neon in that case. It's just not a high priority lane anymore for Geekfam, and you are seeing Neon's draft fall apart at the seams a bit. It is getting a bit wonky. Skem's presence is just not doing much. The Rupture's not really working on Geekfam beyond that one time where Carl did try to blink dodge it, and beyond that point, it's been pretty well going for Geekfam. They're still finding farm, they're still pulling ahead, and they're playing aggressive. Carl is stuck up top, though.
He is. Silent stop. Aether Remnant does not latch on. They just can't. They can't secure the kill on the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, it's... you really need to land that combo. Every single time I think we've watched Play Hard, the Remnants just don't latch. It's really tricky, to be fair, but you depend so much of your control on that, and once it misses, oh no.
Yeah, your Page. Can't really afford to keep dying like this. His team was quite dependent on playing with the Park. But they've just fallen so far behind now. You've got a 6k net worth lead on Geekfam. They are pushing down objectives at the very least. They did find the top tier 1 and, well, they're trying to push the top tier 2 a little bit. But ultimately they're just avoiding the side of Geekfam right now, which I can't quite blame them for. But now a smoke is there from Geekfam. Cuckoo does have the Dragon form. Play hard TPing out, but no, Dragon Tail and Nightmare both going to be there. Play hard, can you juke yourself out of this? He will Astral Step away, but, well, he Astral Steps again. They are on the chase, they do want the kill. Carl will blink, give vision. Play hard, still 20 seconds for another Astral Step. He is probably going to die if they could just secure the vision though. No, he's juking out quite nicely and Dissimulate again. Carl will just Sonic Wave. It's enough wasting time. Meanwhile, mid lane, Zephyr, he's going to be in trouble. Double silence out on that Pugner. He's in big trouble. In fact, he's taking a fair bit of damage, but now the Decrep comes out. Dream Coil is there. Can they actually finish the job off, though? Not quite. They do finally get him, but your Page goes down, and now a Fiend's Grip on Scam. Even Januel, he's trying to run away, but Carl is going to be on top of him. Raven gets a triple kill on the Ricky. And it's just turning to a good old-fashioned stomp.
Really is. 9-17, 9k lead for Geekfam. And Neon, they keep trying to commit onto Zephyr, and they have to throw so many bodies out for a pause 4. It's just not shaping up the way Neon would like. I think Scam has to reconsider that build. Oh no.
Rappy does barely get away with his life intact. Play hard. Stun, gonna be there on the Void Spirit. He is in huge trouble. And Raven is just online now. Like, you got the BKB up. He didn't even need to use that last little engagement. Just no necessity for it.
Yeah, he's got so much space to just command these fights that, again, Neon just feels like they have to focus Zephyr, but it's not enough. And, oh no.
Yeah. Easy kill. And Genuel's there as well, but there's really no hope of survival.
Ah, they call it.
Yep. They're too far ahead.
Yeah. 9-19, 12k, 21 minutes. Raven again with the great farm. Cuckoo and Carl with the great aggression, and Zephyr just ruining them. The Pugna pick was so good here. And the fact that he went for the ward to even stop Page from trying to make plays paid off in the end. So Neon, gotta be a bit more careful in that draft. You can't allow Geekfam to take the DK and Quap. They just love these heroes too much.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, even with the Pugna going for that kind of ward build, I do think it was quite smart in the end. Like, you have a bit of a think about it. You look at it. They didn't need the extra push with the Nether Blast. They didn't need the damage either. That Nether Ward is just so disruptive against your Page's Park that it really does pay off. Nevertheless, though, we do have a second game between these two coming up. I guess we'll wait and see if Raging Potato is coming back to kind of fill in the slot there for Rappy, but I don't think Rappy really played badly or anything. I just think they got outdrafted and outplayed in the end. We'll find out, though. Game number 2 should be coming up in about 10 minutes. It is MLP Dota on Dronex Fire. We'll see you all again very, very soon.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for the second game of this best of two between Geekfam and Neon Esports. It is MLP Dota and John X Fired. John, still haven't got your cameras working, sir, but how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. That was a very explosive first game showing from Geekfam, and it does kind of continue down that historical matchup, right? Like, Geekfam has beat out Neon consistently. When we saw that in the last game. We'll see whether or not Neon, they managed to fix up their playstyle, maybe fix up a bit of that drafting. You have to say though that they continue to allow Geekfam to have access to the Queen of Pain and DK. That's not a great sign for me.
That it is not. Neon, they will prioritize the Beastmaster, but Geekfam, if they so wish, could literally go for the DK Quap right now. Of course, they are going to be on the Radiant side, and that may change things up a little bit. Apparently it will. Geekfam, they go for the first pick. Conquer into that Queen of Pain again. Arguably, though, that Quap should either be off lane or pos 4 now. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a mid-Conquer coming out for Carl. Regardless, though, another great, strong opening for Geekfam.
Yeah, I like this response to that Beastmaster. With the Tidebringer, you can clear out the army quite fast, and it just makes it a lot easier to stop that push coming out from Neon. Do have to say, though, the Queen of Pain will have to be a bit more careful. With the Roar this time around, Neon does have very strong hold, so they do have a way of keeping that Quap locked in place. We'll see whether or not Geekfam does try to rectify that down the line, or if they're just perfectly fine with that. As
I mean, if it's a support.
Yeah, if it's a support, you don't care as much. Like Zephyr, we've seen him play the effective Quap at 4 anyway, so having a direct counter for a 4 isn't too amazing. So there's still space there for Geekfam.
Okay. Well, Neon Esports, they're going to take quite a bit of time trying to make this second pickup. One thing we didn't really talk about is Raging Potato is not back. It is still Cypher Rappy. So that hasn't changed, in case people were wondering. Neon, they're going to take a fair bit of time here for this second pick now, using almost half their reserve time, but they do go into the Rubik pick, which is quite intriguing, but with the Kunkka Queen of Pain, I guess there is quite a bit of spell to steal already for that Rubik, so I can't quite blame them for that. And funnily enough, I didn't even notice this, but the Earthshaker has been banned, so both teams actually skip out on the ES.
Yeah, it's one of the few days where we actually see the ES not being a priority. It's been a few series actually where the ES has kind of been ignored, so we'll see whether or not Geekfam will want to pick that up, and if Neon does ban it out here. Of course, Geekfam, if they do pick up the ES, you're picking it into a Rubik, so that can be a bit tricky, just giving a lot more value for Neon to play around with that. And the Rubik's already a very strong response to a potential Shaker pick, so Neon's kind of got their bases covered. Do you have to say, the Rubik, as you mentioned, lots of nice spells to steal the Kunkka. I think having access to the X is going to be really good, and even the boat isn't too complicated to steal, so you can have added durability and control on Neon's side now, which can be a bit of a problem. I think Neon has set themselves up quite nicely. They've fixed a few of those drafting issues we saw. If it is going to be play hard in the Rubik, I'm sure we can expect them to do a lot more. But Geekfam, the Enchantress was still left in the pool, and there is a Beastmaster on Neon Esports side, so they just take that edge. We've seen this so many times up against the Beastmaster. You just take away the boar, and suddenly the Beastmaster's laning presence is severely weakened.
Oh, it really is. You do rely quite a lot on having those double balls up to really dominate the lane, but just having one of them taken away from you is quite devastating. Not to mention the Enchantress can just impetus the other ball. If she really wants to just remove it from the game, that can make things even harder, because then you just have no balls, and she has one. So Neon Esports now going to start thinking again about this third pickup. Only 20 seconds reserve time left for this. They are thinking quite hard, and in all fairness, Game 1 was a very dominant victory for Geekfam, so I don't quite blame them for taking their time, but they do go into the Oracle. That does kind of imply we might see a troll pick coming up for Neon Esports. Geekfam, though, they won't really care too much. They go straight into the PA pick.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting one to pick into Oracle of all heroes. I think the Oracle's a pretty good response already to the PA. This does tell me Geekfam's just very confident. Like,
yeah,
it's like picking the PL into Shaker. You just feel confident up against the natural counter. In PA, you have to be worried about the disarm. You've got to be worried about the magic damage and control the Beastmaster can bring out. And of course, the false promise just delays that burst. And you see the troll, right? It's gonna be there because it's an Oracle pick.
Right.
The troll against PA isn't too bad. PA can hurt from the mischance as well, so it can be a bit back and forth. I'm a lot more confident in Neon's draft this time. It is a lot easier to pull off. Skem on the troll should be able to farm a lot better and should be able to get space. There's not as much pressure on Skem to start early, but Geekfam with their draft, I mean, they can play aggressive from the get-go. Raven on PA should be... Yeah, it can go either way. He can opt for a very fast build or just slow the pace down with Battlefield. I think Geekfam should just play the fast game. We saw what he did with a very early Ricky. The PA can kind of get that done. Maybe not in the troll, but the squishier supports are going to be exposed to that hero.
That they will be.
10 seconds remaining.
Kind of intriguing that Neon Esports still felt the need to go for that troll into the PA. Like, you have that naturally built evasion in the PA, which is going to make it a bit harder for this troll warlord. So we'll see how it pans out for Neon. It's... At least they do ban out the Pugna now, so they won't be afraid of that Decrep coming in as well from Zephyr. And of course, Zephyr was being quite disruptive in that first game. They just want to try and remove that hero and just have a bit of a break from being decrepit and having nether wards everywhere and being life drained constantly. Neon Esports now that final pickup. They are looking for their mid hero. It's a matter of what they are going to choose. As it stands, it still seems like they are going to be up against that Kunkka in the mid lane. They could go for the DK still, it is there, and it would kind of match up with what Neon Esports is already going for. The only problem I see with the DK is, though, you don't really have control for the PA. They do go for it. I don't blame them for that. I think it is a good pick. It's just still a problem of how do you deal with the PA. That I'm sitting here thinking about.
Yeah, it's either you focus on the PA or you focus on the QoP, but you can't focus on both. That's really that's really the weakness of this draft. It's all single target control.
10 seconds.
So the team fight coming out from Neon, not the best. Geekfam has that in spades with their Kunkka and QoP. And again, they've got the leeway in their last pick to exploit this. The DK gives Neon a lot of push with the Beastmaster. I think that's even the troll, right? We've seen a lot of early trolls just shove in a tier 1. So that's something Neon can work for and apply a lot earlier. They can just try to take objectives a lot faster. So look to Neon to try to find that early space by clearing out the map a bit. But Geekfam, I think they just want to play as 5 again. Like QoP, Queen of Pain, QoP and Kunkka gives you a lot of room to force these early fights, and there's still a last pick to be had here. It's looking like a Zephyr Queen of Pain with the Enchantress, which does lack control if they're going to go that route, but they tend to leave that last pick as core. Usually the Carl or Cuckoo here if they're feeling a bit different there.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, the Timber. I didn't even realize the Timber was still there. That is really nice though for Geekfam now, because you have a very, very easy way of getting through the Dragon Knight HP. Of course, the Timber does not care about the armor of the Dragon Knight, so it will be a fairly easy way of just ripping through this DK. Overall, even with the Troll Warlord, like there's not much you can do as a Troll up against this Timber. Of course, the Oracle can be a little bit frustrating with the Fortune's End just purging off the Timber, but overall, I think you're still very, very happy if you're Cuckoo this game. I say Cuckoo, but they haven't decided what lane he is going yet. It could easily be the mid Timber with Carl. In fact, they may go down that route. Yeah, they will. They give Cuckoo the Kunkka. Zephyr takes the QoP. And because they saw Yopaj on that mid DK, I can't quite blame them. Because this is a very, very easy lane for Carl now.
Yeah, it's an excellent last pick from Geekfam. And there are some exploits here for Neon, right? Like, there's not amazing control from Geekfam. They're relying on Cuckoo's spell usage and maybe the Enchantress to find a Centaur creep for the stun. Otherwise, Neon, they've got a lot of options to try to run away. Definitely a lot more control from Neon's side in that early game. So you look at the Oracle and the Rubik to try to really make that work for themselves, but it's just hard either way, even without that control in Geekfam. They've got the counter pick for the DK. They've got great wave clear from Geekfam. It's going to be tricky for Neon to find that space. If they can ride out the laning phase, find their level 6, and start finding pickoffs, I think they can start to transition from those pickoffs into towers quite well, and that's really the best way for Neon to go. I just don't think Geekfam will allow that. They'll group up as 5 by the time they hit 6, and they'll just keep fighting. Their lineup allows that.
We're going to see how it all pans out. Neon, they'd love to just try and get a draw here up against Geekfam if they can. Because I believe Neon is playing in the next series as well, so it's not going to be a great start for them if they get 0-2'd here. Unfortunately for Neon, their next series is no easier. They're up against the Droid, so you can make the argument it's even harder for that next best of 2 they're in. But that's to be decided. I mean, we'll see how Geekfam performs in the second game, and then we'll make the determination whether a Droid is going to be a harder matchup. As both teams are sitting pretty high up in the group stage right now. Geekfam actually leading the group stage as it stands at the moment. And they look to continue leading that group stage, assuming they get a 2-0 victory here.
Yeah, it's been a really good time for Geekfam in those groups. They